Hey music lovers, welcome back to Sound Saga. This is the first in what will be a series of episodes featuring cool covers. I wanted to do a video on this topic, and as I got into it I realized there were way too many songs to tackle all at once. I really do love a truly excellent cover. We'll kick this first episode off with amazing covers of Jamaican classics that have been pumped up with some punk energy and social bite. Then we'll slow it down for songs that dial back originals into introspective gems. Finally, we'll tackle songs with multiple cool covers, proving that some songs are just begging to be reinvented over and over. But that's just the start. In the next episode, we'll tackle classics, those legendary songs that have been given epic makeovers by new generations. And we'll wrap that with songs that are just pure fun, covers that just make you want to laugh and dance and hit replay without a second thought. After that, hey, maybe we'll do an episode 3 if you guys leave some excellent suggestions in the comments. But remember, cool covers only, nothing too close to the original. Okay, let's kick things off with some great island rhythms. In the late 1970s, as punk raged across Britain, a new sound emerged from the industrial heartland of Coventry and beyond. This was second wave ska, also known as two-tone. It was a high-energy fusion of Jamaican ska, rocksteady, and reggae with punk's bite. Bands like The Specials, Madness, and The Selector bridged cultural divides and promoted racial unity in a divided UK. And at the heart of it all, a loving revival of forgotten 1960s Jamaican gems. Of course, they were more up-tempo, had more biting lyrics, and that unmistakable offbeat skank. The Specials, the Coventry crew who kicked off the two-tone label, were responsible for two of my all-time favorite covers. First, let's take a look at You're Wondering Now, originally a sweet, laid-back rock-steady track by Andy and Joey from 1964.
You're wondering now.
The Specials cranked it up with punchy horns and Terry Hall's deadpan delivery, turning it into a song about heartbreak that hits like a rude boy at a dance hall. Wow, that's a great update. I love it. But the Specials didn't stop there. Years later, on their 1996 reunion album Today's Specials, they tackled Pressure Drop, a reggae anthem by Toots and the Maytals from 1970.
It is you, oh yeah.
With its infectious groove warning of karma coming back around, the Specials cover added a layer of British grit, proving that these Jamaican roots had enduring power even beyond the original two-tone era. The revival wasn't just the Specials' gig. Madness, those nutty boys from London, worshipped Prince Buster, the Jamaican ska king. They blasted off with One Step Beyond, Buster's 1964 instrumental, turned into a manic shout-along hit in 1979. I have a real soft spot for these two-tone covers of the island classics. The way they combine the hypnotic rhythms of the originals with the colder, grittier influence of late 20th century Britain just really does it for me. But sometimes it's cool to go the other way. Instead of adding in all that grit, just tone it down. Take your time with a song and really give it a whole new vibe. It's been done a lot lately, and maybe it's starting to seem cliche. But sometimes it's done so well, it's amazing beyond a shadow of a doubt. One of my favorite examples of this done right is Angelica Dusk's cover of Big in Japan by Alphaville. The original is a bombastic 80s synth-pop classic, and I love it. But I never understood the words until Angelica Dusk slowed it all down decades later. Now, I can appreciate the imagery and the meaning of what turns out to be some pretty great lyrics.
Crystal bits of snowflakes all around my head.
Fantastic. What a way to amplify the meaning in the original. Of course, when you write a song, not everyone is going to agree with you. Rather than amplifying the meaning, how about somehow subverting it? Is there a better case of this than a Perfect Circle's cover of John Lennon's Imagine? A lot of people think John's vision sounds an awful lot like Hell on Earth, And clearly Maynard James Keenan is one of them. Just listen to how the tonal differences inform a total rejection of the vision of the original.
Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us.
That'll be controversial, I know, but the musical reconfiguration is clearly an amazing way to reinterpret the original. Maybe not as amazing as what is widely regarded as one of the greatest covers of all time, though. There's probably not a less likely pairing than 9 Inch Nails and Johnny Cash, which I guess is why Johnny's version of Hurt hits so differently. Trent Reznor's bitterness suffuses the original, but Johnny Cash alchemically transforms it into an old man's regret.
My empire of dirt. What have I become?
Johnny Cash took Hurt and turned it into something completely different and somehow more profound without changing a word. Even Trent Reznor said that it's Johnny's song now. You can't ask for a better endorsement of a cover than that. There's one last song I'd like to include in this category. Perhaps for a couple of generations of people, the defining entry. I'm talking about the cover of Mad World, the one with Gary Jules on vocals that broke the hearts of millions. As a Gen X teen when The Hurting was released, I've known Mad World for decades and I love it. In fact, I love the whole album. One thing you can say about it is it certainly speaks to teen angst. But Mad World had that great synth bass and the cool percussion. It always felt like a complaint about the Mad World, but not really defeat.
All around me are familiar faces.
Worn out places, worn out faces.
The cover, though, that's a different story. It really feels like Gary's had his heart ripped out. What a shift in tone. Speaking of which, between Hurt and Mad World, it's getting a little heavy in here. Let's shift the tone by moving on to our final group of videos, songs with more covers than you can shake a stick at. Let's start with one that caught me off guard when I first heard it covered. I'm talking about New Year's Day by U2. U2's just one of those bands you don't hear covered very often, but I know not one, but two cool covers of New Year's Day. First off, let me say I'll always love the original. That bass, the piano. And then one New Year's Eve, many years later, I had my mind blown by Bedouin Soundclash. They turned it reggae, and it worked. What an amazing treatment, but one cool cover doesn't get you into this category. So let me throw in the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra. Just check out these trumpets. I love a good horn line. Heck, a good line is always welcome. Check out that amazing segue to the one and only Leonard Cohen, possibly Canada's greatest poet. As a man with a great head for words and a questionable voice, it's no wonder he's the king of being covered. I've just chosen one of my favorites as a representation of the many Leonard Cohen songs that have been covered over and over again. You know, I may be in the minority, but there are Leonard Cohen songs where I prefer his original to the covers. First, we take Manhattan as an example of that. But I've gone a different direction. Avalanche is not a song I love when he sings it.
You strike my side by accident.
But when I brought home I'm Your Fan, a CD of Cohen covers, I fell head over heels with the Jean-Louis Marat cover sung in French. It's incredibly atmospheric. And then there's the version by the inimitable Amy Mann of Till Tuesday fame. It's cool just because it's Amy Mann, but also great in its own right.
Well, I stepped into an avalanche.
Well, from one classic Canadian to another, what is it with these guys being covered all the time? We'll wrap up with the legendary Neil Young. His track, Like a Hurricane, is a great song, but as with Leonard Cohen, nobody accuses Neil of being a great singer. But a great song is a great song and ripe for covering. And what's better than when a band you love does the honors? I do love Roxy music, and their live cover of Like a Hurricane is fantastic. I love the energy of those Roxy music performances. They released an EP with Like a Hurricane and 3 other songs called The High Road, and it's been a favorite of mine for a long time. Check it out if you can find it. Of course, there are many ways to skin a cat, and The Mission definitely put a different feel to this song. I'm a bit of a sucker for goth, so I love it. Well, that feels like enough for one video. Ska covers, introspective covers, songs with multiple cool covers. I hope you had as much fun with them as I did, and maybe found 1 or 2 that were new to you and you enjoyed. Next time, I'll dig into covers of the classics and songs with just plain cool covers. Leave your favorite covers in the comments, and maybe there'll be a 3rd episode with songs that are new to me. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time.
You're wondering now what to do.
Now you know this is the end.
It is you.
Oh it's the reason when you're big in Japan.
You're big in Japan tonight.
Imagine there's no heaven.
And you could have it all.
My empire of dirt.
When people run in circles, it's a very
I'll be with you again.
You strike my side by accident.
But I stepped into it.